everybody, it's Calxiyn here, and if you guys enjoyed this video, remember that you guys should pledge to us on Patreon or join our Discord server. And so, today we're doing a How RWBY Handled. We haven't done any of these. I don't even know if the episode, if they're, like, if we even have titles with that episode anymore, if that makes, or with that episode. We have titles with that name anymore, because remember we used to do a series about that?
Vaguely?
Yeah, and so we did How RWBY Handled Yang's arm, if you remember. So today we're talking about how RWBY handled Jaune's Semblance, and we will be talking about how we won at him doing the aura transfer thingy, how we are victorious. But I just want to talk about how they handled it, because I thought that it was going to be stupid, to be honest. And it wasn't, and so that's really good. And I want to do a video on actually how I've kind of warmed up to Jaune. Like, Jaune and I have had a difficult relationship this volume. Like, first we had mega Shadow Dragon theories about Jaune, which wanted, like, basically I wanted to kill myself, and, like, that's not an exaggeration. Like, you know...
You looked like you were in physical pain.
It was painful.
You didn't even read them. You made me read them. You couldn't bring yourself to, like, draw
and so
your
that
eyes
kind of,
across
like,
that page.
made me hate Jaune a lot. And, like, previous volumes and all of that stuff, like, built together. But that's not what this video is about today, necessarily. So this is how they handled the Semblance. So a lot of people were worried because they thought that it was gonna be this, like... oh, Jaune's gonna save Weiss, and then they're gonna kiss because Weiss is gonna be so grateful, and Florence Nightingale syndrome, it's gonna be great, you know what I mean?
Florence Nightingale syndrome? What's that?
Okay. Well, I'm looking up that definition so I can tell you exactly what it is. Let's continue. So, a lot of people, like, thought it was gonna be that, and that would have been dumb, and I think that how they did it is fine, because it's not just healing. Like, I don't know if that's obvious to anybody. Except for, like, a bunch of people have already said that they think it is more to do with aura than it's just like, ooh, a heal. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't healing her wound, it was just rejuvenating her entire body, to some extent. But again, we'll talk about that another time. But it doesn't seem like it was just straight healing. Also...
ha! Your spear to my vital organs can't be defeated by the power of friendship!
The Florence Nightingale effect is a trope where a caregiver develops romantic or sexual feelings toward, even if very little communication or contact takes place outside of basic care. Feelings may fade when the patient is no longer in need of care. So that's basically like if you fell in love with your therapist.
That apparently happens quite a bit.
And this is basically, but they mean more doctors, so, the Florence, so...
Also, I don't have a therapist, but I digress.
Not anymore. The Florence Nightingale environment theory, and all of that stuff, like, it's basically because Florence Nightingale, like, served as a nurse or anything, and she observed a correlation between the patients who died and then, like, nurses and shit. And so it's basically like when you fall in love with someone that's taking care of you, like a doctor or a therapist or a nurse, right? And so, we were talking about this in a different Discord server, not mine, but the Murder of Birds Patreon only Discord, and somebody brought up how, like, relationships that are built on that usually don't work, because it's all based off of a very traumatic experience.
Unless they're chronically ill, get yourself a chronically ill GF.
Well, anyways, so I was worried about that, and a lot of people were toying around the idea of Weiss being in a coma and True Love's kiss waking her up or whatever.
Fuck that.
And then that would have been bad. But how they handled it here was good, because I feel like Ren knows exactly what it is, because Ren is smiling, first of all. So it's not like, oh, Jaune, like... it's so magical that you can now heal people now. You know, like, no one said that.
He's like, good job, my little boy.
Like, Ren knew, like, Ren seemed to know, because Ren was smiling like, yeah, bitch. Like, I knew it. You know what I mean? And it does really look like aura, but again, we did an aura transfer video already, but again, if you guys don't understand
that in fanfiction quite a bit.
Why it looks like aura, Jaune's aura is white, and it's this giant sort of film or force field, as Jaune says, around Weiss, and so instead of, like, being, like, traditional healing is, like, green, or white, and sometimes white, but, like, green, and then would have just targeted the wound and she would be okay, but this is very different. This is almost replenishing the aura, and so, too long didn't read, we were right. But anyway, I really like how they handled it. Even if it's just straight healing, I think they handled it really well, because it didn't feel like they were trying to be like, and Weiss and Jaune will live happily ever after. Like, you know what I mean? And they also didn't make a big deal out of it, and not that I didn't want them to, because I think that his semblance, like, discovering himself is very important, but I thought that they would, like, have this dramatic music, and, like, have it be this, like, giant, like, sort of rising action, and then he would heal her, and then it would be, like, you know, the music from, like, an end of a fantasy movie, like, when they finally beat the boss or something, and there's a loud crescendo. Like, I thought it would be, like, all this overhyped sort of nonsense, but I think that they handled it really well. Like, I think they did a really good job. And Hunter, you did the analysis on sort of Jaune and, like, Jaune fans and stuff, so I guess I'll just take it out. Like, how do you think they, referring to that video, like, how do you think that they've sort of, do you even remember what you said?
No, that was more about, like, why people want Jaune to be the main protagonist of RWBY.
But do you feel like that this kind of improves, not improves what you said, that's not the right word, but do you know what I mean?
How does it relate to that?
Yeah, like...
Okay, so I feel like this has less to do with Jaune's character.
Yeah.
And more to do with the Raven reveal later on in the episode.
Oh, what do you mean?
Well, because I have this theory that
no
one was really thinking about Raven going into this episode. They were only really concerned with Weiss. And then being like, well, of course Jaune. So you're
saying it was basically
So it was a misdirection. So we're just like, okay, so that's all they could think about. Like, oh my god, his wife dies. I will not go on. I was one of these people. I probably wouldn't be able to go on, Cal. And so they were very concerned about that. And then, like, everyone's like, oh, but you know what? It's going to be Jaune. And Jaune's going to come in and he's going to have a healing aura, a healing semblance.
Or a transfer, or whatever we said.
Well, whatever it was, we said. It's going to be, basically, Weiss is going to be okay. And that happened. It was like, oh, okay, like, that's all the drama we can really get. And then, bam, Raven's the actual... When you think about it...
Well, I actually saw a theory on Reddit that said that before, and I thought that for a while before y'all shut me down. Like, y'all broke my heart.
Yeah, I know. It's almost like this is the 18th time you fucking mentioned it.
I know. It's because I wanted an apology.
That'll be the epithet on your fucking grave. Like, I'm still waiting for when you guys apologize.
I know, like...
About that show that aired 70 years ago before I passed.
Whatever. Like, listen... I'm not that salty about it. I'm just saying, like, I thought I had such a good idea, and then I was crushed.
Salty about it, don't you?
Okay,
goddamn
well, I am
lie.
salty, but this I'm not salty about.
So
like,
yeah, that's what I think. I think it was less about Jaune's character.
And more like using Jaune's character to be a distraction, which basically he is all the time.
To something, which I mean,
so
really.
There you go.
Yeah. But
yeah, I really liked how they handled this. Like, even if you guys watched our patron talk that I did on Friday, depending on when this video comes out.
How many, like, hardcore Jaune fans are in the Patreon?
I don't know, like, maybe 3? Like, at least. But I know that Aaron, who we had, is a hardcore Jaune fan, and he even said, like, listen, I don't want them to do this bullshit where Jaune kisses Weiss and everything's okay.
That would fucking suck.
And then he said, I also don't want it to be, like, bullshit healing. Like, I'd rather... I think he said that he'd rather it be what I said. I don't know if that's an exact quote. Maybe I'm just making that up. But
because
he's a $60 patron. It's okay. And so, yeah. So he, like, even him as a hardcore Jaune fan was like, how about you don't do that, Rooster Teeth? Because that's not a good idea. You know,
yeah.
and he's very... I think that he's very happy with how it turned out, too. I don't think that he's disappointed. At the time of this video, that may have changed, but as far as I know, he's pretty content with the result that we got. And so I think that if even hardcore Jaune fans aren't salty, then everyone should be happy and we should all have a nice day. You know what I mean? Because Weiss didn't die to serve anyone's development.
Yes.
Weiss wasn't even really saved to serve anyone's development either, because it's all about Raven now, bitch!
That's also
like,
something
you know
I think
mean?
is very important about the Jaune thing, that, like, he's not getting more characters to die for his development. When really, like, I don't think Pura died solely for his development.
Oh no, well, there's
Pura
RWBY
died.
too.
Pura
but then
served
RWBY didn't get any.
No, it also served to say, hey, people can die in the show. She also served as, like, this is Maidens and Relics.
She served
and the
as
end
a lot
game
of
the
stuff,
series.
yeah.
So I feel like that's I think symptomatic of people who think Jaune should be the main protagonist.
Yeah.
For that video I did, that one thing that I'm very proud of. I let my inner Anita Scarcesian go. Anyways.
Who?
Nothing. Anyways.
Okay.
Video game reference.
Anyways.
Yeah, so I don't think, and it proved that it didn't really serve, because she'll be okay. It's development so much that he has a new trick.
People are like, White Knight. Hello.
Yeah, I hope not. I
and
hope
like,
not.
Okay. I just want to make a quick note about that. If Weiss falls in love with him because he saved her, that's a problem for me. But if they do like a long, slow burn sort of thing, like where it comes across like 5 volumes or something like that, and like it's volume 10, like Jaune saved Weiss 5 volumes ago, and maybe they're starting to, like... I'm okay with that. I just don't want Weiss to like him because he rescued her. RWBY rescues her all the time.
I hope Weiss finds a better fucking
But you
love
know
interest,
what I mean.
And I hope Jaune dies alone.
That's not nice.
I fucking said it.
This was supposed to be a nice video.
Sorry, I have to be mean to Jaune. It's like in the contract or something anyway.
Okay. But you understand what I mean, though. Like, that's not my OTP, but I'd be okay with that. Like, that would be acceptable writing-wise to me. But if Weiss is like, Jaune, like, I'm in love with you because you saved my life, and not because of the development that we've had over the last 5 like, in the future, this is at volume 10, I'm saying. Like, if they do a slow burn with these two. You understand what I mean? And so, yeah. So I think that they're gonna do fine. I will eat my words, though, if they do that thing with Weiss, though. They're like, Jaune, you're my hero. Like, I'm in love with you. Like, then I'll take all this back. Like, this video will be going down, because then they didn't handle anything well at all. But as of right now, I believe that they handled things correctly.
Yes,
if that makes sense.
Well.
And so, that's basically all I wanted to say. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, remember Patreon, Discord, and, yeah. I hope to be doing a lot more of these because we don't usually do the how we handles often. We only have 2 of them, and not to say that they were like a series that died because I wouldn't even call them a series, but they were just something that we did those 2 times and never again. Anyways, I hope
it also hurts
to see you guys later.
You're gonna die?
And
come on. Choke it out.
I'm
Spit
fine,
it out.
I'm fine.
All right.
And anyways, we'll see you later. Bye, guys.
She's just so emotional about our connections to Jaune.